Alright everybody, very good afternoon, good evening everybody. Welcome back to the channel again for yet another live stream here of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, the new version. And I guess I should pause my track IR there. Just loading up the sim yet again for another adventure, and I think this will be kind of the last of my first impressions video here as I'm hitting up a bit of a trilogy here. I did start off with pistons, moved up into turboprops on the last one, and so of course it's only fitting that in this third one we switch to a jet, and not just a little jet. We're switching into an airliner here. As you can probably see, we are in the Airbus A320. We are parked right here at London Heathrow. So today we're going to do a simulated airline flight here, see how this functions in this aircraft. I make no bones about it. I think it is a bit of a simplistic aircraft compared to certainly some of its competition in the P3D and X-plane realm at this point. I'm sure there will be a much better version of this, but as a default airplane, how is this going to work out? So what the heck, let's give it a try. You know, we got very little to lose here. We got an afternoon flight here from London. It's going to be a quick one just over to Amsterdam, just to really show off how the airline system functions in this, see how it works overall. I'm not expecting miracles. I really am not. It's not a super highly detailed airplane. But one nice thing already, as you can see, is that we do have liveries already. So the sim has been out for like 4 days, 5 days now, and we already have people making liveries for it. Now, it doesn't look, and I'm not trying to be overly critical to whoever made this because it is what it is. It doesn't look like it's a super detailed livery. I think probably people will iterate these a couple of times to make them look a little better. So I think if we zoom in quite a ways here, you can definitely see the quality of the paint job on here is not the best. But this is a livery made by a user, and this was made within a couple days after the sim releasing. So I think probably we'll see some iterations through here where things will get a lot nicer, a lot crisper over time. But overall, it looks nice, and it is just, overall though, I will say it's just nice to be in the sim with some realistic airplanes, not just the one default paint job that says A320 on it, and that's it. So it's nice to see some actual real AI aircraft, not AI aircraft, but real liveries in the sim, so you can feel a little bit more like you're actually doing a real-world flight here. So, yeah, it's not the best in the world, but it's not bad, and I'm just happy after just a couple days to have it. So thank you to whoever did this, and I'm sure with a couple of iterations, it'll get even better. We'll get some crispier details and textures there. But really, I mean, this is a default airplane, so we're not expecting any miracles here anyways. Let me just bring up my stream window here just so I can see if you guys are talking to me, and if you want to say anything, then I can see it there. Of course, I should probably turn the volume down because you don't need to hear that. Why did it do that? Why is it trying to show me like my previous... There we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So yeah, so I am somewhat familiar with this aircraft now from the time I have spent in it in the Airbus, in the Aerosoft Airbus. Wow, be a little bit jumpy today. Now, I knocked my track IR sensor today while I was adjusting something, so I may have to just move it a couple times just to get it back to where it really kind of detects me everywhere I go here. So we get some power on to this airplane, and instantly everything's on. So I mean, it's a default airplane. I'll show you some of the stuff I like, some of the stuff I don't. A lot of the switches, wow. A lot of the switches do not work already. Sorry, I'm going to try to adjust track IR one more time just so it hopefully does not... Alright, do any more jumpiness here. So a lot of the switches here you'll see are marked as in off. You can't move them, they just sit there in their default position anyway. So some of the most basic stuff works, but even things like just turning on the ADIRs, it's already in nav and it just stays there. So about 80% of the switches in this flight deck don't really do anything. I'm amazed that even the fuel pump switches are here to turn on. But yeah, I'm not expecting any miracles. It's a default airplane, so... it does look good though. Like the textures are very nice and crisp. You get up too close to the switches and everything, and things do look very crisp and nice, and the coloring is nice. But overall, most of the functionality is not there. Almost none of the switches work, except for some of the most basic ones that you need to use. Light switches work. I'll get the nav on, but even then, it's just a on and off. It's not even a there's not even a middle position on it, so it is what it is. And then, of course, we're sitting here at a gate, so we need to do some things here. So ground services. If we go to our communication radios, we can request ground services. However, we have to tune in a ground frequency first to do anything, even to just request the jet bridge.
Heathrow ground, Speedbird 440, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
And there it goes.
Speedbird 440, the jetway is going to be connected.
Should probably request a fuel supply.
Heathrow ground, Speedbird 440, could you please send a fuel truck? Speedbird 440, fuel truck is on the road.
And that is the door. Master for the door, so that's fine. And we'll request some baggage service.
Heathrow
So
ground,
this is how you do
Speedbird
all of the
440,
requesting
could you
stuff.
please send the baggage? Speedbird 440, baggage is on the way.
Baggage is on the way. So it's funny because this reminds me a little bit of GSX, this interface where you click on things to get things to happen. Yeah,
ground, Speedbird
I find it funny that,
440,
like,
could you please
you know,
send
for
the
all the
catering
technology
truck?
we have, it doesn't seem like the
Speedbird 440,
ground
the
services,
catering truck is on the road.
the look of the ground services has progressed a lot, but in terms of the ATC interface, it's not any better than the P3D or FSX ATC, you know, from 15 years ago. So it is what it is here. Alright, so let's do a few things here. We're going to get ready to go flying. Just make sure that parking brake is on. We'll pretend people are loading. There's no GSX to tell people to load. Did you notice this here too, that there is an EFB mount here? I wonder if in the future there will be an EFB mounted here. Something to think about. Tim said, next time I go flying, I should contact Toronto Ground and ask them to send the baggage cart. Tim, I love it, yeah. I don't think they're going to love it as much there, though. They may think I'm on crack or something if I do that. Alright, let's do this. There we go. I'm just trying to pause my track IR. There we go. So I can actually put some stuff into the FMS. So the FMS is semi-functional in this. So what I did to start was I requested... I told the aircraft, the sim, where I was going to start and where I was going to end, so it's already pre-filled that for me. So if I go to the init page here, I did actually make up a flight plan. Lord help me if that happens. The Toronto guys are competing with each other on my chat channel here. I did make up a sim brief flight plan. I'm not going to fly this online because VATSIM is still, it's just too slow, and especially simming I can't, or streaming I can't put up with the stuttering. So, but I am going to try and use this here, 7,500 feet. No, we're going to fly it at flight level 270 for crying out loud. Flight number is 440. I did put that in as my ATC call sign already. Flight plan. It does seem like this is mostly functional, a little bit simplistic perhaps, but mainly functional. You know what I need to do on COM2? Is there no ATIS in Heathrow that I can tune? Like, really? Why can't I? There. There it is, okay.
Heathrow Airport information, India 1500 Zulu. Line 252 at 22. Visibility 6. Sky condition, few clouds at 1,200 feet, few clouds at 4,100 feet, few clouds at 12,000 feet. Temperature,
So 27 right or left for departure.
2.10. Altimeter tree 0.01. ILS runway 27 right and ILS runway 27 left in use. Landing and departing runway 27 right and runway 27.
So I don't know which one to pick, so I'm just going to pick one at random here. 27 right, we'll say. Going to Amsterdam. I'm scrolling through my flight plan, and the zoom is moving here as well. I think it's Brookman's Park 7 Foxtrot. Insert that one. And then that should take us to Brookman's Park. There it is, Brookman's Park. And then after that, we do... Let's see if I can do this here. So I go in there, I hit Airways, and I wonder... I hope this database is relatively current. I don't think it can be updated with Navigraph. Oh, fuel. I guess maybe the fuel truck is here. Okay, I didn't bring that up, so the fuel truck must have brought that up. And it's It's only in gallons and pounds and not in kilograms, but my flight plan, unfortunately, is in kilograms. So 5,400 kilos of fuel would be about 12,000 pounds. Would be rounding up, I think, a little bit, but fuel, 12,000 pounds. $10, $20. Yeah, we got 20. We don't need nearly this much fuel in here. Let's see, these are 1340, 1340, so that adds about 2,000 there, 1,500 or 2,500. So we'll say we try to keep it at 15,000 pounds to start here. So there we go. Oh, there it is. Fuel, actually, fuel, 15,000 pounds. There you go. Yep. Okay, that'll work. All right. So fuel, and then loading. It just makes up some weights. Pilots are 170 pounds each, and then the business class is 6,100 pounds, 3,500 pounds forward. Economy class is 4,000 pounds. That's it. Yeah. We can load more than that in the economy class of this airplane. That's only, let's see, that's only about 20 people. So let's see, let's add another, let's triple that. There we go, 12,000 pounds. Payload of, oh, you can put payload 42%. Okay, anyways, that's reasonable. We'll say that's good. Okay, back to setting up the flight plan here. If I can find my route, Q295. Nope, it does not know that airway. Did I get it right? Q295. It does not know that airway. Well, failed already there. Alright, so let's see if I can just insert these waypoints manually here. After Brooklands Park, it's Tawtry. Tawtry at north 51 and almost no east. There we go. Tawtry, M-A-T-C-H, match. Brain. North 51, yeah. Brain, so you're going to have to put in all these waypoints manually. Now, the one good thing for those of you that are watching this stream and are interested, you can already download a SimBrief flight plan into your Airbus, into the sim. It will recognize GASBA. It will recognize, SimBrief has a new FS 2020 flight plan format you can download. Ratlo, Redfa. I gotta figure out where this arrival starts here. Oops. Not in database, thanks. Hold on. Redfa actually is where the arrival starts. So after Gasma comes Ratlo. Ratlo. And this is a good thing I did a short flight. But yes, you can load it, and if you load the way you load it is when you're selecting your flight, you just simply hit load and you can load the PLN file that SimBrief generates. And when you load up the airplane, I did this already the other day, your whole flight plan is already in the FMS. You don't have to input anything manually. Alright, but I'm just curious to see how well this works, trying to input stuff manually. And already we've had a few failures. The airways don't seem to work, but that's okay. And expected arrival runway in Amsterdam 24. No, wrong way. ILS. I think we'll do 27, actually. It's more realistic. And the star is the Redfa 1 Alpha. Yeah, that's it there. And the approach via is via Sugal, I think. I'll pull up the charts later in flight, and hopefully it won't be too screwed up. But there we go. So you can input a flight plan into this FMS. It's not the best, but it works. It's in there, and it looks like all the waypoints are in there. We'll recheck some of the stuff as we go through it. And then we can go to init page 2, put in a C of G. Apparently I don't need to put in a C of G, it just doesn't care. Nope, hold on. Let's do it this way. 50.2. It probably doesn't want me to input and mess with the init pages here. Oh, there it goes. If you gave it the ZW as well, it worked. Okay. And we'll say we're at 12,000 for the block. Oh, no, we're going to be at 7. It's funny that the loading screen was in pounds, but then the airplane is in kilograms. If you look up here, it's in kilograms. So we'll say 7.2, which is more than the 5.8 we needed, so we do have plenty of fuel in it. And performance. So if I do flaps 1 takeoff, and seem to have some speeds there. I don't know how well they're going to work, but there we go. That is it. So I have now set up the FMS, and we can probably just start dismissing a lot of this ground clutter around the aircraft now, because we got all sorts of ground services, baggage, and whatnot, and they don't care. So go away. Alright, so it looks like all that stuff we requested is already gone. So, good. Okay, so I think we can start up and get ready to go here. This should be fun. Hopefully we can make it in one piece. Let's just make sure we got a few other things programmed in here. Quick scan of the overheads. Do we get the annunciators seem to be stuck in the test position. The emergency lights are not operable. Neither is the no smoking sign. You can turn off the overhead lights, though. There you go. Alright, so what we're going to do since the fuel truck's not here is we're going to start the APU. And even here's a few other things I noticed, not even on the ECAM page here can you bring up anything other than engines and fuel. These are the only 2 pages you get to bring up. Engine, fuel. I wonder if brightness works here. Oh, you can make those brighter. Good. It's a little hard to see. APU in op doesn't show you any information for the APU, so you don't even know when the APU is really running, other than if you can hear it. Not the best system in the world. Alright, just pardon me 1 second. I'm going to check my Navigraph charts here on the other screen. So smoking is allowed then. Yeah, I guess smoking's allowed, because, yeah, I can't change that switch position, so you guys can smoke all you want. Smoke them if you got them, guys. It's simplistic. It's very simplistic. It's a default airplane. I don't know really what I was honestly expecting. This is not the sim for IFR flying. That is for sure. And now, of course, I can't get Navigraph to load. I don't even know if there's a top altitude on this. I feel like it's 6,000, I feel like. For some reason, it is not want to load anything here. London Heathrow. For some reason, great, Navigraph has crashed on there. Maybe I can pull it up on my tablet, because it doesn't seem to want to work on my computer here. Sorry guys, stick with me 1 second. I'm just trying to find the Navigraph charts here. Don't tell me Navigraph is down. Yep, log in. Remember me, please. Thank you. Oh, it seems like, okay, either my internet connection has died or Navigraph is down temporarily, so yeah, I guess we're going to be flying this one by the seat of our pants. Let me just see if I can find. I'm just going to have a look here. Probably dated. I found some charts, but they look very dated. I just want a top altitude anyways. We'll say 6,000. Say Navigraph is down right now. Damn it. Here I am trying to do a stream, and I have no Navigraph. Okay. Are the SIDs on here? Let me just see if the SIDs are on here. Those are the stars. I don't even have... I just found a random file on the internet here. It doesn't even have... oh, it does have the SIDs here. If I could just find the right one. Off of the 27s, Redfa. No, not Redfa. Brooklands Park is what we're doing. No, I cannot find it. You know what? We're just going to go with it anyways. We're not flying live online, so it's not the end of the world if I don't do everything totally correctly. So we'll go with 6,000 as top altitude. We'll let it follow the flight plan it's got programmed in there. And I think that's about it. So I'm just going to do the checklist really quickly to make sure I haven't missed anything too idiotic here. Does anyone remember what the altimeter setting was on the ATIS? Alright. Hopefully the APU is up and running by now and I can turn off external power and nothing died. So yeah, so we can request jetway disconnection.
Heathrow ground, Speedbird 440, could you please disconnect the jetway from the aircraft?
Alright, and a before start checklist, cockpit prep is complete, wheel chocks should be removed, cabin signs, well, they're broken. ADIRS is stuck on nav. Request IFR clearance for instrument flight plan, let's try that.
Heathrow ground, Speedbird 440 IFR to skip Hall, ready to copy.
There you go. See how well this works.
440 is cleared to skip Hall Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 27 right, climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure frequency is 118.475 squawk 0611. Speedbird 440 cleared to skip Hall
8,000 feet, so there you go. All that looking in the
Takeoff runway 27 right, climb and maintain 8,000 feet.
It's already there. Alright, fuel quantity is 5,700 kilos. Takeoff data, we've got set in the barrel ref.
Speedbird 440 readback is correct.
Put the ATIS on COM 2 here.
121.855. Airport information India 1500 Zulu.
Just looking for the altimeter setting.
Visibility 6.
Oh, interesting. If I'm not on COM 2, it doesn't hear it, I think.
Heathrow Airport.
Yeah, if you're not on the COM 2 window, it doesn't hear it. I didn't know that. Learning things all the time. We're going to request pushback, and we're looking for the altimeter
Heathrow
setting.
ground, Speedbird 440
2998, and yet we're in Britain, and it's giving me the altimeter in inches of mercury.
Request accepted.
There's a lot of little weird disconnects. Alright, so we'll do before start checklist below the line. Windows and doors. Well, can't open anything in the sim, so it's all closed. The beacon is going on. And the thrust levers are... Why are they all the way forward? Because this is backwards somehow. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. We gotta flip these controls. I thought I flipped them the right way, but apparently I flipped them all backwards, so... not there. Controls. And power management, so throttle. There shouldn't even be anything in propeller. Why is this here? Sorry, guys. I thought I had fixed this all before I started, but apparently I did not. So let's do it. Secondary, spoiler axis, reverse, apply, and save. There we go, that's better. There we go. Alright. Thrust levers are now idle. Parking brake is going to be released. And we're ready for pushback. And there we go. As soon as I release that brake, wow, this guy was ready to go, wasn't he? Look at him go. Now, the funny thing about this is that you have to change it, you have to control it as you're doing the pushback. So I have to tell him when to turn. If I tell him just push back to the left, he immediately starts to turn. So it's a little different from what everybody's used to, I think. Alright, so we'll start engine 2. So at whatever point I think is appropriate. Which way are we facing here? We're facing east. We gotta go that way. So he's got to steer to the left.
Heathrow ground, Speedbird 440 requesting pushback tug to steer the aircraft to the left.
Oh my god. You're gonna say this every single time?
Speedbird 440, your request has been transmitted to the operator.
Nope, that was the wrong way. So now he's gonna take 10
Heathrow
minutes
ground,
to do
Speedbird
that.
440 requesting pushback
Meanwhile, the
tug
engines
to
are
steer
starting.
the
We got the
aircraft
light
to the
off.
right. Speedbird 440, your request has been transmitted.
And this would be okay if it wasn't cumbersome like this, if there wasn't a pause, and it feels very cumbersome to do that. Alright, but we are getting the engine started here. It's not the end of the world. It's kind of fun, though. Not as good as it could be. I do like this. Like, the frequency, obviously, you would have, like, a company frequency you would do this on, a lot of stuff on. Alright, that's probably good enough for here. I can see the yellow
Heathrow
line
ground, Speedbird 440 requesting the end of pushback. Speedbird 440 request to end pushback received.
Alright, looks like number 2 is stable, so we'll start number 1. Alright, there goes the tug. And like that was not bad, and it was slick the way it connects and disconnects automatically wherever it went. There it is. And this tug it's a pretty mean looking machine. Might even put GSX to shame. And GSX FS Dream Team has done a lot of stuff for their models, but it's a pretty good looking tug they got going on there. But the steering of it's a little bit awkward. I definitely like the way GSX handles the steering for you a little better. Alright, we're getting the second engine started, so we'll get going here in a second, and hopefully we'll get this flight done quickly here. Just want to take some time and see how this works in the sim. Like, I would love to be doing this with VATSIM. I would much rather any day of the week have VATSIM going here, but the drop in frame rate is just not acceptable. And it's not even the drop in frame rate, it's the stutters. It just pauses the sim for half a second and moves on. And it's not... Why Microsoft and Asobo changed the SimConnect DLL and then released it without testing it, nobody knows. One of those things that just make you go, why? Okay, after start checklist, so we're going to go ahead and get this off, and that can go off, and I can go back to normal. The FO would set flaps to position 1, and I think that's about it. Make sure the transponder is on. Oops. There we go. Alright, let's do the after start checklist. Oh, the one thing I would do, of course, is the flight control check, but I can't even see that the flight controls move. All I can see is that things in the flight deck move the way they're supposed to. That's all I can see, so... Probably should have set the parking brake when I dismissed the tug, too, huh? Anyways, after start checklist. So anti-ice is off. I wonder if the anti-ice even works on this. Oh yeah, it does, because it's supposed to be a realistic icing simulation. ECAM status checked. Well, there ain't no messages, because it's the simplest ECAM ever. Pitch and rudder trim. So pitch, we've got 0 set. Sure. And 0 set. And hand signal received after start checklist is complete.
Heathrow ground, Speedbird 440 with India ready to taxi IFR. Speedbird 440 taxi to and hold short of runway 27 right using taxiway Charlie Bravo Lima 21 Alpha Alpha Tree Alpha 2 Alpha 1. Contact tower on 118.705.
Say what? What, somebody... Yeah. Now, could somebody please read back that clearance again? Okay, Charlie Bravo, Link 21, Alpha, Alpha 3, Alpha 2, Alpha 1. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense there. If I can find my Heathrow ground chart. Maybe it does. So, yeah, Charlie Bravo. Wow, this, no.
440, did you copy?
Oh, I didn't even acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Taxi to and hold short runway 27 right via taxiway Charlie Bravo Lima 21 Alpha Alpha Tree Alpha 2 Alpha 1 Speedbird 440.
Alright, so I don't have a current aerodrome chart, so I'm trying to find one here. I'm going to minimize this so you guys don't have to look at this, but it is kind of... It's not terrible. It's not the best by any means, but it's not terrible. So I'm trying to find... There we go. I found a current chart here in PDF format. If I can zoom in on it a little bit, please. Why can't I zoom in? Oh, there it is. Anyways, I know we're going up Charlie, and then we gotta make a right turn on Bravo, and then I don't know where link 21 is. I'm sure I'll find it. Hopefully it's well signed. Seems like the friction model has not been fixed in 2020 here. So it seems like the airplane still slows down as you're taxiing, which almost no jet does. At the very least, they keep going at the current speed. They may not accelerate, but they keep going at the current speed, but almost no jet slows down. There's next to no friction. Use ChartFox. You know, I found the chart, so I may have to spend some time looking for a chart before we get to Amsterdam. Now, I will say, like, I do like the detail level here. This is London Heathrow. The detail level's not bad. I think it looks better than the UK 2000 I'm using in P3D. It does look pretty nice, and with the ground equipment, clutter and stuff like that, and the AI traffic, it does look pretty good. Oh, there's no other planes flying out here. That's kind of bugging me a little bit. I got the AI traffic at about 40%, and then lots of planes parked at the gate. Nobody's flying. Nobody's taxiing. Alright, let's give this a little more power. And see if I can turn the brightness on these displays, because I feel like they're super dim. Cams are already at maximum brightness. Ooh. Keep it on the center line, Rob. Keep it on the center line. Like, overall, it does look good. Like, the grass looks good, the shadows, the vehicles, everything does look like very nice. And the frame rate's not bad. I turned it off for this video, but I think I was doing about 30 to 40 frames. I think if we do night, or if we do like a stormy weather with more clouds, it'll get worse. But again, it's one of those things where you could never replicate the world in full detail. It's just, there's too much information. So how much information can you put on here and still keep the performance reasonable? Rob is my co-pilot there. He's invisible and silent. That's who it is. If you get up close to a lot of things, they don't look as good as they could, and that's fine. And nothing's going to be a perfect replication of the real world. I think they've done a very good job. I think they've done a very good job of striking a balance between computer performance and giving you the overall effect of the world. Like, you've got trees at the end of the airport, so you can't see past them. You've got a fair amount of detail. Like, there's a lot of ground equipment clutter. That's something that I think has been missing from previous versions. It really is well done in this. There's quite a bit of ground equipment clutter across the airport here. Where's my ground speed? 11 knots. I think we can go a little faster than that, guys. But one thing that did strike me about the interface, and the more I kind of go into it here and use it, and the fact that there's not like a menu bar at the top that lets you adjust things as you're flying the sim. There's just like these very simplistic little menus. This is probably the most complicated one, is the weather one, but then there's just these simplistic little pop-ups. I think what it really sort of makes me think of is that, like, this is the amplification of a flight simulator. Take what has been a very venerable, product, and make the interface super simple so that you can use it on a... I think the thing to me is that, like, it really does look like it was designed on an Xbox. Like, the dialogues are ridiculously big, the buttons are ridiculously big. They kind of look slick at your first impression, and it kind of looks really good, but then when you start using it, you're like, it's very big and very cluttery. and it really does look like they've really appealed to the Xbox user. But the problem with that is that they've made the options hard to get to, and this is, I think, a bit of a problem. For example, the other day when I was trying to just turn off my HUD on the external view, so I didn't have the instruments on the external view, and I could just do some nice screenshots. I had to dig through some menus, and it wasn't very easy to find. Like, something like that should be like a hotkey. But it feels like a lot of stuff is kind of hidden away in menus and hard to find. It saddens me a little bit. For example, my Speedbird call sign. The first time I booted up the sim today to try and do the stream before I activated the stream, when I was on the flight selection page, I didn't put in my call sign, and in order to put it in then, when I realized it, I had to close the flight down, go back to the flight selection page, input all the information again, including the call sign, and then go back into the sim. So it was a lot of stuff that you should easily be able to change. If you make an error on your call sign or something, you should be able to change that easily within the sim without having to exit the sim and then go back. So I find a lot of things that that you should easily be able to do from within the sim, you can't. And that frustrates me a little bit. Saddens a little bit as well. You know, we should be able to do these things from within the sim, but we can't. So you know, they said they wanted to make a sim first and then appeal to gamers as a bit of a backdrop, but I feel like they've taken a little bit too much away. And if they don't improve the interface, I think one of the first things you're going to see a lot of add-on developers coming and doing is building a better interface. One where you can access your options as you're flying, as you're taxiing, without having to pause the sim and go into the pause menu to do stuff. Like how much stuff in P3D was available in the top menu here. You could do almost everything from that top menu within the sim. And yeah, when you change some options, sometimes you had to pause it, but certain things you didn't have to. And I just feel like too much of the stuff that is in here is hidden away. Alright, what was my taxi clearance again? It was Link 21, Alpha, Alpha 3, Alpha 2, Alpha 1. Alpha 3, Alpha 2, Alpha 1. Yeah, okay, I see how that goes. In the corner there. Overly complicated, really. You would just say Alpha 3, and then that would... You don't have to turn on the other ones to make it onto the runway. I mean, overall, it's very nice still. Like, I like the sim overall, and like I've said before, this is going to be a great base on which a lot of developers are going to build on. But, I mean, one of the things that surprises me is this ATC system is really no better than the previous P3D system. The interface is a little more colorful and there's a voice, but it's the same very basic, very rudimentary ATC. So this is Link 21 here, so we make the slight right turn here, and then left back onto Link 21. And then make it left on Alpha, Alpha 3. And probably this is about the time when I should be doing my before takeoff checklist, if I can get my checklist back in front of my face here. Before takeoff, checklist down to the line. Flight controls we did check. Flight instruments we checked. Takeoff briefing. We're just going to let the airplane fly it since I don't have the charts. Confirmed. Flaps config. Config 1 plus F. V1, VR, V2, and the flex temp. If I bring that up again. Alright, so we got V1 of 123, VR 129, V2 133. And flex temp is non-existent. It's fine, I don't care. We're really just proving that this airplane works more than anything. ATC, we've got it all set. The transponder's turned on. And ECAM memo. Takeoff, no blue. Well, there's no real functioning ECAM memo. And the takeoff configuration button doesn't work either, so we just hope everything is set. And I'll just say below the line as well. Cabin crew seats for departure. Cabin crew's advised TCAS is on TARA. It's just fixed there, I think. I don't think that button moves. Engine mode selector is normal. And packs 1 and 2 are on. Oh, I guess I gotta call ATC too. Alright, so we're holding short. There we go. Just had to get close enough.
Heathrow Tower Speedbird 440 ready to go runway 27 right IFR to skip hull. Speedbird 440 cleared for takeoff runway 27 right.
What, no wind check? Oh, come on. Alright, clear to go. Strobes on. Sometimes I don't like the way these click spots work on this sim either. Turn off lights.
Speedbird 440, please acknowledge.
Oh, yeah. Acknowledge.
Cleared
You're
for
a computer, I
takeoff
don't
runway
expect to have to
27
talk
right,
to
Speedbird 440.
Come on. Some of these click spots are very small. Very small. Alright, well, there's nobody coming. There's no VATSIM traffic right now. I do like the undulating runway, though. That's kind of a nice effect. Alright, we'll get rid of this. I might just get rid of this altogether for just a minute here while we do the takeoff itself. Alright, hold on, guys. There's no flex, it's just manual. It's toga. Alright, it's all good. Speed's alive, 80. Wow, she's just going. There's rotate. She almost rotated on her own. Ooh. Easy. Easy. Also a little squirrely. Gear up, I guess, and then all of a sudden she's doing 200 knots. Didn't want to get off the ground, and then she's overspeeding.
Speedbird 440, contact London Center on 118.475.
Alright.
Going to 118.475, Speedbird 440.
There's climb power. Do I dare put the autopilot on? Okay, there's the autopilot. Where's it going? Where's it going? Holy jeez. That is some... I don't know if I want to fly it, but it's not doing much better on its own. Alright, contact London Center and then leave me alone.
London Center, Speedbird 440 is at 3,300 feet, climbing 8,000 feet. Speedbird 440, London Center, continue to LON 04 as planned. Altimeter 29.88.
29.88? Oh, okay. Eight, alright. Can I request climb? Alright, well it's gonna level off at 8,000 if I don't do anything else. It doesn't want to accelerate past the flap speed there. So I'm gonna pull it out. I don't like the way this works either. Alright. Very kind of clunky. I'm also used to having FS2 crew to help me out, but very clunky. Okay, now can I go into manage speed mode? Now it's gonna go to 250 knots. But very aggressively too. I noticed the autopilot was fairly aggressive there, but it's funny because like it took a lot of effort to pitch it up off the ground, and then it was kind of sort of okay after that. Then it accelerated a little bit too fast, and then didn't accelerate enough. It was very, I don't know, not very stable. Anyways, it wasn't very stable in its handling. Look at this, like we've overshot the speed. Not very good flying here.
Speedbird 440, climb and maintain 11,000 feet.
I have to acknowledge it, don't I? Or else they'll get mad at me.
Climb and maintain 11,000 feet, Speedbird 440.
There. 11,000 feet, manage mode. There's climb. Power's coming back on, I hope, I think. Are you thinking about it slowly? Yeah, she's accelerating slowly. Very awkward. Who needs FS2 crew when I have the invisible silent co-pilot? Exactly. But apparently FS2 crew is coming to this... oh, you know what? I didn't do an intro on the flight director. There we go. FS2 crew is apparently coming to this airplane. They said that's one of their first releases. Is they are planning to release, an add-on for the default Airbus, which I find it a bit hilarious because the default Airbus does so little to begin with. Alright, we got 10,000, so we're going to go ahead and get the landing lights off. And that should make a difference. Look at that. Right here in the corner, you just see it get just a tiny bit brighter when that light is on. It's actually shining a little bit of light into the flight deck. Alright, so we got that going, and I checked the pressurization to see what altitude we're at, but I can't. And there we go, we're leveling 11,000 again. It's almost as bad as the VATSIM ATC. Oh, snap. Oh, that's nice, though. Get rid of that. See that? It does look pretty good from the inside, though. It's supposed to be like that with the gear wells, like two different colors a little bit there. Or is that looks like that texture is in the wrong place. That looks like the logo. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to complain too much. People are just learning this SDK, so, or that paint kit, so I'm not going to complain too much. It does look good from the outside. I mean, it's a good world we're flying through, and if they can fix some of the other issues, the interface issues and the SimConnect issues, I think we'll have a real winner on our hands here. Come on, are we really going to be sitting here at 11,000 feet? At least we're doing 320 knots at 11,000. Why we're not climbing to 270, I don't know. Let's see, fuel flow, 1250 per hour, 6400. Let's just check our flight plan here and see destination, estimated fuel on board, doesn't have an estimate. Time 15:45, where's our clock right here? See, and there's something wacky about this calculation. We are not going to be in Amsterdam in 4 minutes. I don't know what's going on with these calculations here, but like they go backwards in time. 1543, then 1541, then 1543, then 1542. There's something wacky about these calculations. So you can program in a route. I wouldn't rely on the FMS to fly it reliably and accurately. I mean, and look at this. We're also off course too a little bit here, depending on how you look at it. How are we off course? The autopilot is just supposed to be flying the whole thing. You know, and we got how far we got to go? We got like 100 and something miles to go to get to Amsterdam. 150 miles to go to get to Amsterdam, and if we keep up this rate, we'll never get there. What's our ground speed now too? I'm just trying to. Ground speed's almost 400, not too bad. We'll cover that distance in like 20 minutes or so. But yeah, I'm not impressed with this airliner overall. It looks, again, like so much in the sim, it looks really good, but doesn't function as good as it looks. Unfortunately, the looks do not equate to good function. Like the detail in the flight deck, like the switches are all there, they're all modeled in 3D. The 3D modeling is well done, and overall looks really good, but the functionality of the FMC, which this is a fairly complicated FMC, I would be amazed if they really managed to get half of it into the sim. So it's not bad. I wish it was better. I think we all do. I think we're all eagerly awaiting the first third-party airplanes to come to this sim, because I think that's what's going to really start to set the sim apart. There are some fun things you can do in the sim, though. Yesterday we did some bush flying. On the main menu, there's a couple of activities, and there's 3 different bush flights, which are the bush flights. Each one of them is like a bush flight tour. The one we started is like 27 legs all these like little tiny airports, 30, 40 mile hops, 50 mile hops through southern and central northern California, just a little bit at a time, and trying to spot these little dirt strips. And it's hard now. It's harder than it ever was before in the sim because the strips are so realistically done that you really don't know. You don't know where the airport is until literally you almost fall right over it. Then you're like, yep, nope, that's the runway we have to land at down there. So if you guys get a chance, and we did it as a group flight, so we had 3 Cubs going, and we could follow each other. We could do formation flying and watch each other land. We could land, turn around, and watch the next person land. It was really well done. Are we not going any higher than 11,000 here? Like, honestly. Can I request an increase in cruise altitude?
London Center, Speedbird 440. Request 15,000
yeah, it's had my
feet.
cruising at 11. That's not good.
Speedbird 440, climb and maintain 15,000 feet.
Okay, come on, where's the click spot? Some of these click spots are so small.
Climb and maintain 15,000 feet, Speedbird 440.
Well, let's see if we can get to 210, so let's request another 6,000 foot increase.
London Center, Speedbird 440. Request flight level 210.
Also, we're in Europe. It's not 15,000 feet, it's flight level 150 in Europe.
15,000 feet, expect flight level 210.
Ben, I was thinking the exact same thing. This is almost as bad as Simplistic ATC sometimes.
Climb and maintain 15,000 feet, expect flight level 210, Speedbird 440.
There we go, we're getting a little bit more speed and a little bit better climb, but it's having a hard time. You know, it shouldn't have been this hard for it to maintain the target speed either. It was right on the target speed, just had to pitch up just enough to keep it going, so. Let's see here, terrain on the nav display, can we do that? Is it going to show us anything useful here? And there's Redfa and the arrival into Amsterdam, so. Alright, well at least he has a request, so. Yeah, I didn't import anything in particular. Disagree. This ATC is pretty rudimentary. I don't know, I think the fat UK guys, if they were watching the stream right now, they would be a little pissed at you guys.
440, climb and maintain flight level 210.
As soon as you level off, that's when you get the next climb. Yeah, I don't like this control interface. I do like a lot the way Airbus worked all these knobs. They made it, I think, a little bit more intuitive. I like what they did. I never did an after takeoff check.
440, please acknowledge.
Oh, jeez, I have to acknowledge every time. What a what a drag this guy is. Always my transmissions, honestly. After takeoff checklist. Landing gear is up. Flaps are retracted, and the packs are on. The after takeoff checklist is complete. And so now I'm just going to take a second here. One interesting thing I've also noticed that's a little bit different about this sim, when you pause track IR for at least a little while there, it pauses wherever you put it instead of immediately reverting back to sort of straight ahead. I find that a little odd. Alright. I'm going to try and find charts for Schiphol. Hopefully charts from sometime in the last year or so. Let's see, what's the date on this? 2006. Okay, that's a little bit old for me. Let's see if I can find a better one that's more recent. Nope, 16 September 05. Charts, Dutch VACC. Hopefully these ones are realistic here. EHAM arrival. Ooh, there we go. Very good. Okay. Where are we looking here? Okay, I found Redfa. Did we level at 210? Is that 210 already? Yeah, pretty much. Okay, good. Seems like this airplane's overpowered too. For it to throttle back this much to keep 320 knots, even as it's still leveling off, it seems like the engine also is not very accurately powered. Redfa 1, Sulet, and Sugal. So let's do this. Yeah, we got Redfa, we got Sulet, we got Sugal. And Sugal is supposed to be at or below 10,000 feet. So let's see if I can put in an altitude restriction here. Altitude 10,000 at Sugal. No idea what that means. Jokes. It has no idea what. Let's try it with the 250 knots in there as well. Oop. 10,000. No. It has no idea what that means. Not entirely surprised by that. Okay, that's all right. We'll figure it out. We'll get it done. And we're going to swing around for an ILS to runway 24. So EHAM stars, transitions. Is there no transition? Trying to find the chart for 27, sorry, we're going to do 27, the ILS is 27. Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, okay. Alright, so we have to just put in a little bit of information here. Sounds like this airplane is really quiet, I don't know if you guys think that too, but sounds like this airplane is pretty quiet to me. Alright, so perf. Next phase and next phase. Nope, descent, approach. And I have no idea how to find out the QNH there. Oh my gosh, okay. I'm just gonna literally Google EHAM METAR because that's another thing, like dragging weather information out of the sim is almost impossible to look up as you're doing it. Like, you can try and tune in an ATIS, and that's about all you can do. You can't tune the ATIS ahead of time here, which is really annoying. So, it is 1012, and winds from the southwest, yeah, 27 would be good. 18 degrees. 1012 is pretty much standard, so we're going to go with 18 degrees. And I'm just going to put standard here because it's pretty much almost standard. Close enough anyways. And then it rounds it to 30. You put 29.92 and it rounds it to 30. 30 inches, give or take. Wow. I don't know what I was honestly expecting. But I feel like I was expecting more than this is giving. I'm going to do 159 feet for the MDA there. Is that the Cat 1? Yeah, that's the Cat 1 MDA. There we go. And it should have automatically tuned the nav radios. Let's just check the waypoints here in the flight. Let's check the nav radios first. ILS 27, 111.5, and 267. Where's the frequency? Why can't I see the actual? Oh, look, there it is. 111.55. Yeah, 111.55, and the inbound course is 267. Yep, no, that's good. That's there. Flight plan, let's just see what we got after Sugal. 29, yeah, 20, and then we go over to SPL, which is Schiphol, and then we go outbound to EH804. So it's got the whole transition programmed in there to get us back to the runway. Back to the user waypoint EH615, which is the initial fixed order intercept, and TIDVO's on final. Yep, okay, good. So it's all programmed in there. Still got about 70 miles to Sugal, where we have to be at 10,000 feet. So we don't have to lose, let's see here, 11,000 feet to get there. So we only need about 30 miles to lose that much altitude in this airplane. So it's not the end. It's not a terrible airplane. It's not terrible, but even after flying the Airbus, the Aero soft glass, it feels very simplistic. I do like this effect though. The jet exhaust effect there is pretty neat there. It's kind of the little bit you can see it very much kind of just I don't know, the like a I guess best to say like the effect is stuttering. It moves around a little bit, but you can see each time it sort of moves. Let's see if I zoom in a little more. Yeah. It's like it's shooting out like spurts of exhaust. But I mean, the effect is there, which was never there before. I also noticed, I think, an APU doing that the other day, that you can see a little plume of exhaust just shimmers behind the exhaust. So, you know, there's all sorts of interesting things it does that make it a lot more interesting to fly.
Speedbird 440, contact Amsterdam Center on 119.175. 119.175 Speedbird 440.
119.17. Now, can I do this? Let's see if I can do this here. Niner, yeah, no, it does work. Okay, we're getting there. Wow, this 833 spacing is killing me here. 119.17, there we go. And then I just have to click contact, there you go.
Amsterdam Center, Speedbird 440, flight level 210. Speedbird 440, Amsterdam Center, continue to Salat as planned.
Okay, continue as planned, he says. I'll turn up the background volume a little bit here, just so you guys can hopefully hear the ATC a little better. It's not terrible, but it amazes me still how simplistic that ATC really is. Objectives. Continue climb to designated cruise altitude objective. I wish it would also remember sometimes what you've removed from this toolbar a little better. How's the checklist in this airplane? Before starting engine, after starting engine. That's it? That's the checklist in this aircraft? There's no before takeoff checklist? Wow. Honestly. That's it. There's 3 checklists. Before starting engine, and after starting engine. There's no before takeoff, there's no landing checklist. None of that stuff could kill you. Just starting the engine. So you can fast forward your flight if you're interested in it. I'm going to keep going here because we're doing okay for time. Wish we were there a little faster, but we're getting there. Controls, AI controls. I thought this flight would honestly be even faster than it is. Took me a little while to get it going, I guess. VFR map. You guys can see the VFR map if you want. We're getting there. We're more than halfway there now. We're going to start down soon. Longer than I originally intended. I was hoping the stream would be done in about an hour, but I couldn't think of any much shorter flights between the detailed airports in this sim here. Navlog. I have no points in my navlog. We can get rid of that. But see, all of this, like, just it strikes me as very simplistic, very Xbox friendly. And not that I don't want to be Xbox friendly, but then we're losing out as simmers if we dumb it down a little bit too far, I think. Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, the option to say again. No, I don't want to read it again. I need you to tell me again. And I don't know if there's any other way to interact with the ATC other than in this box. Like if you could minimize this box and then interact with them, you know, by button presses, then that might make sense to say again. But I don't know. Another thing that's missing from this sim, and I think you'll all agree with this, is there's no manual, there's no instructions whatsoever. We were all just tossed in the sim and just told to go and do it and play with it. And, you know, like I learned how the camera system worked by watching somebody else's video on how the camera system worked. Like,
Speedbird 440, descend and maintain 13,000 feet. Descend and maintain 13,000 feet, Speedbird 440.
Alright, there we go, managed descent. It's so hard to see where the purple bug is. Here it is right there, but it's hard to see too. And then do I have descent checklist or just an approach checklist in this aircraft? Just an approach checklist. It is what it is. You get what you pay for, but it's funny after flying even the Aerosoft bus. This is just so. It looks good, but it really is. It's like a Carenado Airbus. It looks good. Pretty minimal functionality. Although part of me is amazed they got. He hasn't told me the QNH. Well, yeah, we're going below the transition level, right? The transition level's 18,000. Because look, we're cleared to 13,000. Yeah, And the ATIS in London had inches of mercury. It didn't have millibars. Like what the hell? Like I find some of the stuff that they overlooked here. I find hilarious. Yet when you go to set the weather, so all the ATC is in inches of mercury. But when you go to set the weather here down here in the corner, you can only set the pressure in millibars. What the frack, guys? Honestly, it's there's such a disconnect between different parts of the sim. It's just a little bit ridiculous almost sometimes. Yeah, QNH is 30. Exactly. I mean, I guess the fact that they even have 3 different airliners in here, we should all be a little bit, grateful that there's something in here more than just the light pistons to fly around in. But yeah, I just feel like they could have done a better job. I'm surprised that none of this really came up in like the alpha testing. Like they had a fairly diverse group of alpha testers. I'm sure a lot of people would have not seen that, but I'm sure there are quite a few dedicated Airbus fans that would have been like, you can't have a QNH of 30 inches. It's 29.92. You can't say just round it to the nearest number. Oh, it's QNH of 29 inches, 28 inches. Like it. Wow, just give her the power there. There's 13,000. Approaching Sugo, we still got about 50 miles to go, so we're getting there. You should see the coast come into sight. I think the coast is just coming into sight down there. I mean, the scenery is good. Just looking out the window is great. It's breathtaking, but I am eagerly waiting some airplanes to come to the sim, and I'm curious. I'm wondering who's going to be first. I'm curious to anybody else's take on it too. Who's going to be the first one into the new sim? PMDG, I think they said that their best hope is first quarter of next year, but probably not even till second or third quarter of next year for the NGX, because there's just so much to do to get it ready, and they haven't had wide enough access to the SDK and its final versions for to really work on it. So they're not ready. Aerosoft is working on their bringing their RJ, so hopefully that might come sooner than later. But yeah, out of all the airliners, I wonder which will be first.
440 descend and maintain 3,000 feet.
We're going to go down to 3,000 feet already, huh? Okay. I might just opt to do it this way and just do like 1,000 feet per minute. There we go. 3,000 feet's at 1,000 feet per minute because like we're 50 miles back. We don't need to be exactly bombing out of the sky yet.
Bird 440, acknowledge last transmission.
Oh, yeah. Quit your belly aching. I acknowledge.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet, Speedbird 440. Speedbird 440, your tree 8 miles west. Climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Expect 4 DME runway 24 approach via Schugal transition. Cleared to Schugal. Climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Expect 4 DME runway 24 approach via Schugal transition. Cleared to Schugal, Speedbird 440.
I don't know if I trust this thing to do a VOR DME approach. You know what? Actually, let's go.
Speedbird 440, keep speed below 220 knots.
You see that jump there too? That was weird.
Keep speed below 220 knots, Speedbird 440.
Alright, manual mode. And actually, yeah, let's do this. Select another approach. Let's do ILS runway 27 if we can do it. And I guess we have new vectors now.
Speedbird 440 would like ILS runway 27 approach vectors to final. Speedbird 440, your tree 2 miles northwest. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors ILS runway 27 approach. Circle to land runway 24.
Circle to land runway 24? No. No, we won't be doing that.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors ILS runway 27 approach circle to land runway 24.
I think this thing's gonna be too squirrely.
Speed bird 440.
Honest to God. What a Mickey Mouse ATC system, honestly. First he cleared me to 3,000, then he didn't. He wants me to slow down to 220, but I really want to get there because I gotta get this stream done in the next little while. So we'll slow it down a little bit here, but we won't slow down too quickly here. We still got 25 miles to the airport. You know, I put on the seatbelt sign for these guys, but that's not going to do very much. Click, 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 click. Nothing happening there. Alright, but we did get through 10,000, so let's get some lights on. So we have lights, and I guess we can do the approach checklist. We're not through 10,000 yet, but we're getting close, so we'll just do it now. Approach checklist, approach briefing. Well, we didn't really do it, but I've done the ILS. We're just going to see how this thing navigates itself. I did check the frequencies and the speeds, so we got everything set up correctly, I believe. ECAM status is blank, so I guess that's a good thing. Seat belts are useless, broken. Baro ref at 2988 set. And MDADH we did set, is it on there? No, it's supposed to be in the top corner there, but it's not. And engine mode selector is norm, so as best as we can, the approach checklist is complete. Alright, I think what we'll do is now we'll take it back into open descent and expedite this descent down a little bit. Actually, I wonder if now I can tune in. Can I not tune in the ATIS when I'm flying? I can only tune in center.
Speedbird 440, contact skip hall approach on 118.405. Going to 118.405, Speedbird 440.
118.40. Oh, come on. Oh, it takes forever to wind through these. 405, there we go. Contact skip hall approach.
Skip hall approach, Speedbird 440 is at 9,700 feet, climbing 13,000 feet. Speedbird 440, skip hall approach, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.990.
Okay, 29.990. Don't we need like a readout here of our altimeter setting somehow? Somewhere on this instrument? It's kind of useless otherwise, isn't it? Somewhere around here, but it's... Oh. Alright, so we're gonna go right over Schiphol here. We're at 8,800, so I might see how it works with these speed brakes out here. Oh boy, does that increase the descent rate. Oh Nelly. It is a nice view out there. Wow. Look at the drag. Holy sugar. 6,000 feet per minute down. What are the wings falling off out there? The most effective speed brakes I have ever seen. Okay, I think we gotta close those up again. That was a little bit overkill. And now look at the speed pop up here. We close those, holy moly. Yeah, I think there's some performance tuning that could happen with this sim as well. I think there's a lot of performance tuning that could happen with this sim here. Alright, so here we come over the Schiphol Airport. I believe these are the first couple of runs. Yeah, we're gonna go right overhead the airport here. As we descend down to 3,000 feet, even now we're still, feels like we're bombing down pretty darn fast. And then a little stutter there as it tries to load something. I don't know what it was loading there, but it stuttered for a second there, loading something. Alright. And then we have to go out and fly this loop here. Come back to land, and we're not circling for 24. Honest to God. I don't think you normally land 24 in Schiphol. To depart 24 a lot, but I don't think they normally land 24. 2,000 feet. We'll get the speed back to 220 now, like they asked for a while ago. Bombing overhead the field at 3,000 feet. The Vatsumers would not be happy. Ooh, a rainbow. You guys see that rainbow? How pretty that is. So nice. I gotta say that from this angle, it certainly is going to give Fly Tampa a run for their money here. I love the reflections too in the cars in the parking lot like that. It's really nicely done. There's all sorts of really neat visual effects here. And some of them you won't really appreciate, nobody really highlights them, but things like that, like light reflecting on the windscreen of cars and stuff like that, that's really neat. That little sparkling back there and the light in different cars. It's really well done. Certain things are well done. Certain things make me sigh a little bit. Alright, we just have to go out on this, do this loop around, and we'll be there. We can get it from point A to point B, and at least we can program the FMS. I wouldn't want to try and reprogram it, because I'm sure if I started to put extra fixes in here, or change too much, it would probably just kill it completely. It would not be happy. I'm beginning to wonder if the ATC has forgotten me. Fly past that beautiful rainbow. And it wouldn't be the Netherlands without windmills everywhere. Yeah, look, you can even see our own shadow across the ground there, down there. Overall, well done, Asobo. There's glitches, there's tons of glitches, but overall, like the scenery and the visual effects are well done. And then when you take some of the third-party developers like Rex and Active Sky and what they will probably do to improve the textures in here will just probably blow us all away. I really want to just say Flaps 1, but I don't think this FO is going to listen to me again. I also feel like this is not going to be a smooth arc. Speed back 200. Let's drop below 215. We can go ahead and go Flaps 1. Get 190 on the speed there. Really just cuts the engines right to idle, doesn't it? Even for a 5 knot, 10 knot speed change. Idle, full thrust, idle, full thrust. Alright, now comes the fun part. I'm going to arm the approach and see what happens. Okay, so we got glide slope, the localizer armed. Let's see if this is going to work here. Look at the terrain map here, though. This is it's actually got like the highways and everything.
440, you are 12 miles east of Schiphol. Maintain present heading and altitude. Contact Schiphol Tower on 118.28.
Okay, that's really not an approach clearance.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Tower on 118.28, speedbird 440.
Useless.
Schiphol Tower, speedbird 440, 11 miles east, inbound ILS runway 27, approach circle to land runway 24.
We're not circling to land 24. Okay, there's low.
Speedbird 440, Schiphol Tower. Cleared ILS runway 27, approach. Altimeter 29.9, wind 230 at 20.
It doesn't, oh yeah, no, it did reach glide slope mode. Okay, good. So let's get 170. Let's get flaps 2. Did you say we're clear to land on 24?
2,500.
Anyways. Yo, we are here landing in Amsterdam, checking out the beautiful scenery here in Amsterdam as we go.
Speedbird 440, acknowledge last transmission.
Oh, yeah.
Cleared ILS runway 27,
It
approach
looks like this
Speedbird
highway's got some
440.
buildings built on top of it, so I'm wondering if there's going to be like a way to contact Asobo and, you know, why can't I put the gear down? Okay, we'll just do it the old-fashioned way, G. And complain about glitches, so things like because of the way the satellite detection worked, it looked like there were buildings on the highway there. The automatic algorithms decided that the highway was actually buildings. For some reason, I've lost my ability to click anything in the flight deck, it seems.
Speedbird 440, cleared to land runway 24. Wind 230 at 20.
Okay, cleared to land. And yeah, I lost my ability to click anything in the flight deck. I don't know what happened. These things work.
Cleared to land runway 24, Speedbird 440.
I'm just gonna try and click on some other things and come back, and can I do anything? Nope. It seems like my mouse has stopped working in the flight deck.
1,000.
So, let's see here. Yeah, so autopilot's off, so now I'm just hand flying it, because it seems like I can't do anything, click on anything in the flight deck. We're also going way faster than we should. I also can't put the flaps down the next stage. Oh, that's great. That's great.
500.
Well, we better keep the speed to about 160, and hopefully we can at least use the brakes here, because it seems like my
400.
inputs on my control column are working, but my throttle quadrant and everything
300.
are a little bit lower than it should be. But that's it. Nothing I can... All of a sudden the point and click interface is gone. Ah, come on. That's so honestly.
200. 100. 60. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard 5.
She's doing some weird things here.
Speedbird 440, contact ground on 121.705.
I guess I can't use reverse either. I don't have a reverse axis defined. I don't know what the... There's probably a key for it, but I don't know what it is. So just a lot of brakes.
Speedbird 440, please acknowledge.
Oh, give me a moment there. Honestly, I'm getting off the runway. Jesus. These guys. So it looks like the sim may be broken, and I may have to just kill the stream right here, because I don't know what happened.
Speedbird 440, did you hear my last transmission?
Shut the hell up.
Going to 121.705, Speedbird 440.
Okay, so I'm just going to really quickly go to the ground charts here, and I'm going to see if I can try to taxi. If I can find the gate I was going to go to here, which was Delta 31, was the one I had planned on. Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm just trying to find it. Delta 31. I've just got a chart up on the other screen. It's just a matter of finding it. Oh, there it is. Okay, I found it. Alright, it's funny because the window interface works, but the flight deck seems to have died.
Skip Hall ground, Speedbird 440, taxi to the gate. Speedbird 440, 440 taxi to gate Delta 4 via taxiway November, tree Alpha 14 Alpha Alpha 8 Alpha 5.
It picked a different gate than the one I had selected.
Taxiing to gate Delta 4 via taxiway November, tree Alpha 14 Alpha Alpha 8 Alpha 5 Speedbird 440.
Everything started working again. But yeah, for some reason I couldn't click on stuff there for a little while. Oh, now it's all working, it seems. Okay, so let's get the strobe off. Get the taxi light back on. Start the APU before I have a chance to forget. Flaps can go up. Yeah, now everything's working. But that was weird. It was like the interface was frozen for a little while. It's a reverser toggle that you throttle up. Okay. I will have to research this because I did not even think about that. This is the first time I've taken a jet out really in this sim, so I will have to do a little bit of research on how that works. Thank you, Ben, though. I will definitely look into it when I get a chance. I gotta say, like, the smoothness with which this airport runs, and it's not quite on par with Fly Tampa, but it's pretty darn close. It's not quite as good as Fly Tampa, but it's pretty darn close. But the speed with which I can run this sim with all the objects nearby, that's what's really astounding. So there we go. We did make it. We did manage to bring the Airbus from London to Amsterdam. A few little glitches along the way. Not terribly happy with the ATC service. I think I'm going to be filling out a comment card for that one. But yeah, the model is crude. I think it needs a lot of tuning. It feels like the engines like rev up and down way too quickly and easily for a jet. So there's a lot of issues with it. It's not great by any means, but it's not bad. It'll tide us over, I think, until, as long as we can get up on bad sim with these, it'll tide us over until such time as we can get the real good add-ons coming our way. So it'll tide us over for a little while anyways. So we're just going to go right around to where Delta 5 is. Delta 4, did you say Delta 4 or Delta 5? Delta 4. Delta 4. Hopefully there's ramp staff waiting for us when we get there, since it's been pre-assigned by the sim. Curious to see what happens. This is just all an adventure for me. Just trying to figure out what the sim will do, what it won't do. It's funny though, look at all the stuff parked in the grass. It's funny though, as you're driving past like these airplanes, they're not, I'm not sure if these are all the AI airplanes I have, or if these are just only the Sims AI airplanes. Like, I wonder. I haven't figured it out yet. I don't think the extra liveries that are loaded get added as AI traffic in this sim by the looks of it, unfortunately. It looks like it just goes with a couple of default airplanes it has. This yellow one, this green one. Hopefully we'll be able to get some packages that'll get that working soon. One thing I will say that I do like is that how easy it was to add stuff. I've added a little bit of scenery and a couple of liveries to this sim already. Super easy if anybody's wondering. It is literally drag and drop. There is no more editing CFG files. You take the liveries you download and you just simply drop them in the community folder. And that's it. You don't have to edit any CFG files. It detected them all just fine. All the liveries that I added in were detected just fine just by dropping them in there. So what a wonderful thing it's going to be not having to at least edit CFG files. That's going to be a beautiful step in the right direction here. Alright, I think that's Delta 4 right there. So hopefully this APU is up and running. I'm going to go ahead and shut the taxi light off. I never did a landing checklist because it seemed like the whole interface was busted. Anyways, after landing checklist, we did do ground spoilers, disarm, flaps up, engine mode selector norm, APU is started, and that's it. So I think this is Delta 4 right here. I think it's Delta 10. I think this is Delta 4 here. And I think I see a marshaller down there. Let's see how well the marshalling works here. Now it looks to me like these vehicles are parked way too close to that yellow line, so I'm just going to go for the straight in approach here. Assuming that this is... Yeah, that's a marshaller back there. For a second it didn't look like a marshaller, but looks like our wingtip's probably going to go through some of these vehicles here. We'll turn the ground clutter down a little bit again, but... feel like GSX here. Not bad, not bad. It's a little animated, it's something. And the overall effect is amazing with like all the different vehicles, all the clutter, people everywhere. The effect is amazing, and I know a lot of these things can be achieved in the previous sim, but to see it happening with such great performance too is the other thing. Like, I could turn on all these things with GSX Level 2, but my sim P3D would have, you know, died. How close do I need to get, guy? Because I feel like I'm running over the tug right about now. Say to stop? No, he says keep going forward, but that to me looks like the right spot, so I'm going to just kill it here. But did you notice that also, without calling for it, the bridge is coming automatically? How nice is that? Alright, APU's online. We're going to go ahead and kill this airplane here. Good, because the door's opening anyways, before we even did anything. Parking checklist, APU bleed is now on. Engine masters 1 and 2 are off. Anti-ice is off. Seatbelts are unmovable. External lights, kill the beacon. And fuel pumps all off. Okay, shut up. And the parking brake's going to stay set, and that's it. So we did make it. It was not great. It wasn't too bad. We had some glitches. First time out with the Airbus in this sim, but like the amount of detail, the vehicles and everything, the clutter that it adds. It's just a pity I don't see any AI airplanes flying. I have AI enabled, so why I don't see AI airplanes flying, I don't know. Anyways, that's a question for another time. We made it. It's not terrible. It's not the worst airplane I've ever flown, but it's not the best either. So Aerosoft spoiled me. I look forward to trying to fly some other versions of these airliners, and hopefully we'll have some add-on very soon. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope it was a little bit informative to you, helped you kind of decide if it was if this sim is something that's worthwhile or not to you. I think it is. I think it's a pretty good sim overall. It has its issues, there's no doubt, but it's not bad. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys all out there real soon. Take care.